When was the last time you chose yourself? Not your family, not your job, not what everyone else expected from you, just you. If you are struggling to remember, this story is for you. Because what happens when you finally choose yourself will surprise you. Her name was Layla, 30 years old, a good job, a busy life, people who needed her everywhere she turned. Her mother called every morning. Her boss emailed every evening. Her friends texted in between. Layla was always available, always helpful, always the one who showed up. But nobody ever asked, "How are you, Layla?" And Layla never asked herself either. She had forgotten that was even allowed. One evening Layla sat alone in her car outside her apartment. She had just come from her mother's house, where she spent her entire Sunday fixing problems that were not hers to fix. She was exhausted. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind of tired that comes from disappearing piece by piece, until you look inside and find almost nothing left. She sat in that car for 40 minutes. Not crying, not thinking, just empty. And in that emptiness a thought came. Small, quiet, almost afraid to exist. What do I actually want? Layla could not answer it. She realized she had not asked herself that question in years. Maybe ever. She went inside, sat on her kitchen floor, and took out a piece of paper. She wrote at the top, "What do I want?" And she stared at the blank page for a long time. Then slowly, one by one, things began to come. She wanted to sleep without an alarm. She wanted one morning with no phone. She wanted to read the book sitting on her shelf that she bought 2 years ago and never opened. She wanted to say no, just once, without explaining herself for an hour afterward. Small things, quiet things. But to Layla, they felt revolutionary. The next morning something shifted. Her boss emailed at 7 asking her to come in early. Layla looked at the email for a long time. Then she typed, "I will be there at my regular time." She pressed send before she could take it back. Her hands were shaking. But she did it. That afternoon, her friend called asking for a favor that would take her entire evening. Layla said, "I cannot tonight. I have something." The friend asked, "What do you have?" Layla said, "Time for myself." There was a pause. Then the friend said, "Oh, okay." And that was it. No disaster. No emergency. No one fell apart. The world kept turning. And Layla stood in her kitchen, completely still, realizing something she had never understood before. The world does not fall apart when you take care of yourself. It only felt that way because no one ever told her otherwise. Over the next weeks, Layla kept choosing herself. Small choices. Quiet choices. She woke up 30 minutes early, not to work, but to sit with her tea and watch the morning arrive. She opened one of those unread books. She went for a walk with no destination and no podcast playing. Just the sound of the world around her. She started painting again. Something she had loved at 20 and quietly buried at 25 when life got too loud. Nobody noticed these things. Nobody gave her an award. But something inside her, something that had been shrinking for years, began to grow back. She began to recognize herself again. 2 months later, Layla's mother called. She said, "Layla, you seem different lately. Are you okay?" Layla thought about it. Then she said, "Yes, Mama. Actually, for the first time in a long time, I think I am." Her mother was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Good. You always gave so much to everyone. I was worried you forgot to give some to yourself." Layla's eyes filled with tears. She had not expected that. She had spent years assuming that choosing herself meant letting everyone else down. But her own mother, the person she worried about most, had been watching and waiting for her to remember herself. Right now I am speaking to you. You who always show up for everyone else. You who say yes when every part of you wants to say no. You who cannot remember the last morning that belonged only to you. I want you to hear this. Choosing yourself is not selfish. Choosing yourself is how you survive. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you do not have. And you cannot love others well when you have stopped loving yourself at all. The people who truly love you do not need you to disappear for them. They need you whole. Start small. One morning. One boundary. 1 hour. One no. That is enough to begin. What is one small thing you have been wanting to do for yourself but keep putting off? Write it in the comments below. Just one thing. And if someone in your life is always giving and never receiving, send them this video today. They deserve to hear this. Subscribe for more stories that will remind you you matter too. Take care of yourself first.